All geared up, and we're hitting the road with this helmet cake. Welcome to Behind the Cream, where I take you behind the scenes of some of my coolest cake creations. Let's get baking. What makes this helmet cake super cool is how realistic it is. It tricks the eye. This is probably because of the realistic size and the visor, but also behind the visor, it looks hollow. This cake took a lot of planning and a bit of luck. Okay, to tackle this cake, I had to get the structure down. If you've watched my other videos, you know that a structurally strong cake comes first. Let me get into how I built and layered this red velvet cake with cream cheese frosting. I used a stencil, aka a piece of stock paper cut to the right size, as a guide for cutting the bottom layers out. I based it off of my own helmet. I ride too. Alright, so 2 layers of cake down. Then we have to add 2 more on top, but these will only be half the size because now we're creating the cavity. Sizing for these layers would be tricky for a few reasons. It has to be far back enough that it really does look hollow, but not too far back where the cake on top would topple over. We need leverage. I also decided these layers had to be slightly angled to ensure the cake on top wouldn't fall over, but would almost be leaning back. Some of my trusty bubble tea straws were then cut to the right length and put in. Now for the board. This is what makes the cake so cool. The board was cut to the right diameter, then secured on top with buttercream. The rest of the cake is then layered and goes on top, leaving a hollow cavity. Magic? Nope. Planning. Lots of it. Now you guys know the routine. Buttercream. Apologies for the bad camera angle. It's much easier to cover the cake when it's lower. Reaching upward is terrible, and I've ripped many pieces of fondant this way. This tear is okay though. We're cutting it out anyways. The cavity has to be dark to create more depth. And as you saw, tearing would be inevitable if we tried to cover the entire thing in one go. Let's rewind. Knowing the cavity has to be black, after buttercreaming, we covered this section with black fondant before the entire cake. Now for the details. Grooves, borders, valves, stickers, and logos. Okay, so what about the plastic visor? Sorry kids, you can't eat it. It's actually a thin piece of plastic I cut out from a gardening dome, which I bought at Dollarama, one of my favorite places on earth, along with Home Depot. I had to cut the piece of plastic to the perfect shape, enough to cover the cavity and enough overhang in the exact places to look like a visor. I glued dowels onto the ends of the plastic and pushed those into the cake. Then I made little black fondant buttons to cover them. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and eat cake. I am the Bake Boss.